Tonight on Global TV News Prime, protests begin at National Assembly Abuja over e-transmission of election results. In business, Corporate Affairs Commission offers free registrations for 3,500 small, medium enterprises. On the foreign scene, Ghana's President John Mahama recalls envoy to Nigeria, alleges electoral malpractice. And in sports, National Sports Commission to upgrade National Shooting Range in Abuja to international standard. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on StarTimes channel 276. And now, the news in details. Tension is mounting in Abuja as hundreds of Nigerians took to the street to protest what they describe as an unjustified delay by the National Assembly in passing the bill on the electronic transmission of election results, a move protesters call a threat to transparency and credibility ahead of future elections. Samuel Odi reports for Global Television.
Protesters drawn from civil society groups, youth organizations and pro-democracy advocates converged on key routes leading to the National Assembly complex, chanting solidarity songs and carrying placards with interpretation such as "Our votes must count," "No more electoral delays," and "Pass the e-transmission bill now." They accused lawmakers of deliberately stalling the reform to protect vast political interests, warning that failure to act swiftly could undermine public trust in electoral processes. Addressing newsmen, Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, threw his weight behind the protesters, describing the delay as a setback to Nigeria's democratic growth and urging lawmakers to listen to the voice of the people.
On that election day, the result must be transmitted from the polling booth to the RF.
Protesters insist that electronic transmission of results remains critical to safeguard against vote manipulations, especially in remote and high-risk areas. Aisha Yusuf, a human rights activist and the executive director, Center for Transparency Advocacy, Faith Mwadashi, called on lawmakers to prioritize national interests over partisan consideration and immediately condone work on the bill.
Constitutional power and authority to indeed ensure that there's real-time electronic transmission of results. That is all Nigerians are asking for.
We are here to remind them that we have the votes, we have the ballot, and it is us that decides. People talk about the power of the gavel, but I tell you the power of the ballot is higher than the power of the gavel, because without the ballot there will be no gavel.
What we're just pulling out is that we want electronic transmission real time.
Civil society organizations also vow to sustain peaceful pressure, insisting that the protest marks the beginning of a broader civil engagement campaign until the National Assembly assures full legal backing for the electoral transmission of election results. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
In the meantime, the Senate has announced that it is set to hold an emergency plenary sitting on Tuesday, February 10, 2026. The announcement was made in a statement signed by the Clerk of the Senate, Emmanuel Odo, who said all senators have been requested to attend. The session is scheduled to commence at 12 noon. Away from the National Assembly, President Bola Tinubu has received a delegation from the United States led by the commander of the United States Africa Command. In a statement by the Special Assistant to the President on social media, Dada Olusegun, the President welcomed the visitors alongside his National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and service chiefs. The delegation includes Commander of the United States AFRICOM, General Davin Anderson, and the Chargé d'Affaires of the United States Embassy in Nigeria, Keith Heffern. The 2026 Lieutenant to Captain practical examination of the Nigerian Army has begun in Abeokuta, with 364 candidates participating. Addressing the candidate at the June 12 Cultural Center Abeokuta, the examination president, Major General Peter Malla, congratulated the officers selected for the promotion exercise. He described the examination as a crucial milestone in their military career. Mala noted that the promotion examination is an opportunity to lay a solid foundation for future consolidation of their chosen career. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his expectation that the National Economic Council Conference would produce actionable resolutions on ranching, livestock investment, and agricultural diversification. Speaking at the opening of the two-day conference at the State House Conference Center, Abuja, the president linked the imperativeness for livestock sector reforms to national security, describing banditry and terrorism as economic hindrances requiring immediate solution. Tinubu said he would play his part in ensuring that the reforms are delivered. Now, as Nigeria counts down to the 2027 general elections, civil society groups are sounding the alarm, urging the National Assembly to close ranks on electoral reforms they say are critical to credible polls. At a media briefing in Abuja, the coalition warned that delays, reversals, and contradiction in the Electoral Act amendment could erode public trust and weaken the integrity of future elections. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
A coalition of civil society organizations raised alarm over the Senate's recent vote on the electoral bill, warning that it could negatively impact the integrity of future elections. The coalition therefore called for mandatory real-time electronic transmission of election results, approval of downloadable permanent voters card or missing PVCs, and retention of the current electoral timelines. The group cautioned that conflicting positions between the Senate and the House of Representatives on key provisions of the Electoral Act amendment are creating uncertainty capable of undermining electoral credibility if not urgently resolved.
But let no politician, deceive Nigerians that there is no connectivity. In fact, in 2023, less than 15,000 polling units were declared dark spots. INEC should go ahead and issue the timetable for 2027 because there is a law that is in force.
The coalition also urged the Independent National Electoral Commission to issue the statutory notice of election in accordance with the Electoral Act, which requires a 360-day notice before the nationwide polls, describing early preparation as critical to a smooth 2027 exercise. On electronic transmission, the organization recommended a mandatory technology-neutral framework requiring real-time upload of polling unit results to a publicly accessible portal to strengthen transparency and reduce disputes.
We reiterate our recommendation that the National Assembly should expeditiously conclude the amendment process and transmit the final bill to the President within 2 weeks.
First, that it's unfair to Nigerians that the Nigerian Senate would want to take us back to a reform process that we had on an issue we had addressed in the last reform process. Secondly, it would be unfair to Nigeria for us to claim that we do not have the infrastructure to achieve real-time transmission of results electronically.
The coalition insists that decisions taken at the harmonization stage will shape the credibility of the 2027 general elections, urging lawmakers to prioritize transparency, voters' access, and institutional certainty in order to safeguard Nigerian democratic process. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
As speculations are on the rise that President Bola Tinubu is turning Nigeria into a one-party state, former senator representing Kaduna Central in the 8th Assembly, Shehu Sani, says the speculations are baseless, as Constitution of Nigeria has the provision for one-party state. Senator Shehu Sani disclosed this in an exclusive interview with Global Television. Correspondent Zara Unasir reports.
As we move towards 2027 general elections, the All Progressive Congress seems to be gaining more grounds, but the opinion of Nigerians, including APC stakeholders, is suggesting that there is room for a fair level playground in the 2027 general elections.
Senator Shehu Sani explains that what Nigeria is currently experiencing in the political arena is mass decamping to the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, which is under the Constitution of Nigeria. He blamed the opposition parties for not doing enough to keep their house in order hence the mass defection to the APC.
It is the opposition that doesn't know what they should be doing. Check back what happened in this country in 2014. Many people were leaving the ruling party to the opposition party. So it is the opposition party that will make their party appealing, that will reassure the people that they are a better alternative than those in government today. Then people will be coming to the opposition party. But where you are always fighting, always quarreling, and you don't have one leadership, you are always in court, nobody will remain in such kind of party.
Senator Shehu Sani appealed to Nigerians to ensure that the 2027 elections are peaceful. He further speaks on rotational presidency.
My call to Nigerians is that Nigerians should do everything possible to ensure that the election is peaceful. And secondly, they should vote with their conscience. And thirdly, they should vote and support the present reform program that is going on under President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. And vote for the South to finish their own 4 years in power, and then after that, southern part of Nigeria. Both the ruling and the opposition party should present a southern candidate, and then that is fairness.
With the massive defections of governors to the All Progressive Congress, some Nigerians are seeing we are gradually moving to a one-party system, contrary to the fact that APC stakeholders are seeing a one-party system. It's not possible within the law.
Zahra Nasir, reporting for Global TV.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says it has made significant progress in assets recovery and convictions, but it is grappling with funding pressure and rising operational costs fueled by increasingly sophisticated financial crimes. This disclosure is made by the EFCC chairman, Ola Olukoyode, during the 2025 budget appraisal and the 2026 budget defense session before the House of Representatives Committee on Fiscal Crimes, attended by the EFCC and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU. National Assembly correspondent Anita Patrick completes the report.
Addressing members of the committee, Olukoyede attributed improved performance in recent years to sustained collaboration with the National Assembly, noting that legislative support had strengthened the Commission's capacity to deliver on its mandate. He also confirmed that the EFCC had submitted its 2024 annual report to the National Assembly, with the 2025 report expected by September. According to the EFCC boss, the nature of financial crimes has shifted rapidly to technology-driven fraud, forcing the Commission to invest heavily in digital forensics, cybercrime detection tools, and advanced investigative platforms. Moves, he said, have significantly increased operational expenses.
My challenge is money, money, money. I tell you, Mr. Chair, just this last week, we had cause to have a bill, an invoice for just one item in my forensic lab.
The Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit also briefed lawmakers with its Director and Chief Executive Officer, Hafsat Bakari, highlighting Nigeria's exit from the Financial Action Task Force grey list and removal from the European Union's high-risk third country list.
I also want to inform this honorable committee that Nigeria has also exited the European Union's removal of Nigeria from the high-risk third country list for money laundering and terrorism finance. These milestones and achievements, coordinated by the NFIU, working with close partners like the EFCC and other stakeholders.
Earlier, Chairman of the House Committee on Financial Crimes, Ginger Onwusibi, described the budget appraisal as critical to Nigeria's economic stability and anti-corruption drive, stressing that effective oversight and adequate funding of anti-graft agencies remain essential to national development.
Nigerians are grappling with hardship, and there is a pressing need for effective solution.
The session underscores growing concerns over whether existing funding levels can keep pace with the evolving complexity of financial crimes in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Anieti Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
The federal government has approved 6 billion naira for the construction of 3 mega schools in Gombe State. The Minister of Regional Development, Uba Ahmedu, made this known in Kumu, headquarters of Akko local government area, while inaugurating a 250-bed capacity hostel constructed by the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC. The minister said the 3 schools were constructed by the commission. Meanwhile, the federal government has signaled the imminent takeoff of a landmark 1 megawatt solar electricity project at the newly established University of Agriculture and Technology, Okeho, in Oyo State, marking a major milestone in the institution's infrastructure development. This was contained in a statement signed by the personal assistant to the Vice Chancellor of the current issues, Dr. Bolaji Olaomo. The project, facilitated by the Rural Electrification Agency, is part of a broader national initiative to provide sustainable energy to 16 selected universities across Nigeria. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET has predicted a mix of sunshine and cloudiness from Monday to Wednesday across the country. In its weather outlook, NIMET forecasts sunny and cloudy skies over the northern region throughout the period. According to the agency, similar sunny and cloudy conditions are expected to prevail across the region during the forecast window. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. News Prime continues after this weather forecast plus business, foreign and sports stories. On the other side of this break, please stay with us.
Hello and welcome to the weather forecast. We expect a good moisture influx which will support active weather conditions, although rainfall prospect remains slim during the morning hours, especially over the south. However, chances increase significantly in the afternoon with isolated thunderstorms developing in most parts of the inland cities of the south as well as the coastal areas. Moving into the north-central cities, similar conditions are expected with isolated thunderstorms expected over most parts of the region. Thundery activities are likely over parts of Kebbi and Kaduna State. Meanwhile, dry and sunny conditions are still expected to dominate the northern parts of the country. And that's the latest weather update. Stay safe and have a pleasant day. I'm Safia Sayunusa.
In business, the federal government has reiterated its commitment to strengthening Nigeria's business environment through reforms that make enterprise registration easier and more transparent. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Ambassador Nura Abbarimi, gave the assurance at the Corporate Affairs Commission Anniversary Lecture in Abuja. Kikelo Mokere reports.
The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Ambassador Nura Abbarimi, commended the Commission for its role in promoting transparency, attracting investment and improving Nigeria's ease of doing business ranking, urging the agency to deepen innovation through emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and blockchain.
From the days of manual registration to the present era of digital transformation, the Commission has continuously evolved to meet the dynamic needs of the economy. It has, among other things, provided the transparent framework for business registration. It has also promoted accountability in corporate practice and governance.
Registrar General of the Commission, Hussein Ishaq Magaji, announced free registration for 3,500 small businesses nationwide. He says the initiative is aimed at supporting entrepreneurs and encouraging more businesses to formalize their operations. He noted that the Commission has undergone a major transformation over the decades, moving from a full manual registration system that required physical travel to Abuja to a digital platform now accessible globally around the clock. Magaji also announced a collaboration with Google to strengthen the Commission's technology infrastructure alongside the unveiling of a redesigned website featuring an AI-powered legal assistant and a business name generator to help entrepreneurs secure available business name more easily.
As we celebrate the past, we are even more inspired by the future, one driven by technology, efficiency, transparency, and global standards. In the spirit of this celebration, the management of CAC has approved the following initiatives: free business name registration for 3,500 small businesses to be distributed across the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory.
The chairman, House Committee on Commerce, Ahmed Leary, says the National Assembly is committed to supporting the corporate affairs in its seamless transition to artificial intelligence. The chairman added that the adoption of the artificial intelligence will promote ease of doing business in the country, describing the initiative as a step in the right direction.
To an advanced stage of using AI in the procedures that they're doing and simplifying and ensuring that there's ease of doing business in the country. Our role as the National Assembly is to ensure that we pack the Commerce 2020 to ensure that they have a seamless transition into the future.
The reform and the digital innovation introduced by the Corporate Affairs Commission are expected to accelerate business formalization, boost investors' confidence, and further position Nigeria as a competitive destination for enterprise growth. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Bank of Industry has taken a major step towards expanding ethical and inclusive financing in Nigeria following regulatory approval from the Central Bank of Nigeria to operate a non-interest banking window. A statement by the bank's divisional head, Public Relations, Theodora Amechi, said with the new window, the industry will be able to mobilize ethical funding, support the real economy more effectively, and align its financial activities with social and development objectives. The approval authorized by the industry to commence non-interest banking operates a move that is expected to strengthen the bank's role in driving sustainable industrial development. It is also to widen access to finance for underserved and highly impacted business segments across the country. Still talking business, the World Bank has reduced the size of planned grants to the Central Bank of Nigeria from $10.50 million to $6.80 million, with board consideration for the project now scheduled for March 27. This, according to updated project information by the bank, says the funding, which remains a grant and not a loan, is for the CBN Technical Assistance Facility, a project designed to strengthen the Apex Bank's technology-enabled data-driven supervision of the banking sector and to improve oversight of domestic payments and remittances. Updated information from the World Bank's website indicates that the project has reached the decision-making stage, the final internal stage, before approval by the World Bank's Group Board. And now to news making rounds on the international scene. The government of Ghana has recalled its High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mohammed Ahmed, following allegations linking him to electoral malpractice during a party primary election in Ghana. The recall was ordered by President John Mahama and announced in a presidential statement. According to the statement, the directive took effect immediately, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs instructed to carry out the necessary diplomatic and administrative processes. The decision was connected to allegations of vote inducement and vote buying during the National Democratic Congress parliamentary primary in the Ayawaso East constituency. Israel's Security Cabinet has approved new rules aimed at strengthening Israeli control over the occupied West Bank. This is according to local media reports, drawing condemnation from Palestinian authorities. The Palestinian presidency, in a statement, called the decision dangerous and an open Israeli attempt to legalize settlement expansion and land confiscation. The office of President Mahmoud Abbas called for the United States and United Nations Security Council to intervene immediately. Meanwhile, Hamas political leader abroad, Khalid Mashal, has rejected call for to disarm Palestinian factions in Gaza, arguing that stripping weapons from an occupied people would turn them into an easy victim to be eliminated. Speaking on the second day of a forum in Doha, Mashal described the discussion around Hamas handing over its weapons as a continuation of century-long effort to neutralize Palestinian armed resistance. United States President Donald Trump last month sought to achieve a comprehensive demilitarization of Hamas, threatening the Palestinian group with repercussions if it fails to do so. However, Hamas has refused to give up arms as long as Israel continues to occupy Gaza. Thailand's Boom Jai Thai party has secured a stronger than expected victory in its general election, with Prime Minister Anutin Chan Divakul claiming victory and preparing for a coalition in the coming days. With 93% of ballots counted, the Conservative Party was far ahead of its rivals, looking set to win at least 194 of the 500 seats in Thailand's parliament. The Progressive Party People's Movement, which has led some polls in the run-up to the vote, came in second with an estimated 116 seats. And now talking sports, the National Sports Commission has moved to upgrade Nigeria's national shooting range in Abuja to international standard, with leadership of the Nigerian Shooting Sports Federation describing the project as a key step towards elite performance and alignment with the federal government's Renewed Hope agenda. Speaking, the president of the Nigerian Shooting Sports Federation, Mohammed Shatima, welcomed the swift backing of the commission and its partners, stressing that the upgrade would mark the beginning of a new phase for the sport in the country. He said the intervention reflected a clear commitment to long-term development and institutional reforms within shooting sports. Still talking sports, Nigeria has kicked off its para-badminton campaign for the 2025 World Championship in Bahrain, led by world number 2 and Paralympic bronze medalist Eniola Bolaji. The February 8 to 14 tournament follows Bolaji's gold medal win at the Egypt International Championship, highlighting Nigeria's rising profile in the sport. The National Sports Commission reaffirmed its commitment to inclusive sport development, while the Badminton Federation of Nigeria confirmed the team's readiness after a 4-week Abuja training camp. The athletes will target podium finishes at and crucial wins in the Bahrain Open Point ranking. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a look at some of our top stories. Earlier in the news, we brought you that tensions mount in Abuja as hundreds of Nigerians took to the streets to protest what they describe as unjustified delay by the National Assembly in passing the bill on electronic transmission of election results, a move protesters call a threat to transparency and credibility ahead of future elections. In business, the federal government has reiterated its commitment to strengthening Nigeria's business environment through reforms that make enterprise registration easier and more transparent. On the foreign scene, we brought you that the government of Ghana has recalled its High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mohammed Ahmed, following allegations linking him to electoral malpractice during a party primary election in Ghana. And from sport, you heard that the National Sports Commission has moved to upgrade Nigeria's national shooting range in Abuja to international standard, with leadership of the Nigerian Shooting Sports Federation describing the project as a key step towards elite performance and alignment with the federal government's Renewed Hope agenda. That's it on News Prime. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms now showing on your screen using our Global TV NG. I am Mokhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.